作業の効率化に直結すると、そういった考えに基づいてこのeShareというものが開発されました。特徴的なのは、当然その CADMATIC の 3D モデルの情報というのはリンクされますが、いわゆる CADMATIC 外のシステムの情報などについても、このeShare自身が自ら探し出して、ワンクリックで確認可能な環境というものを構築しているというところが一番のポイントだと思います。加えて言いますと、このeShareシステム自身は、CADMATIC の仕様というものが、いわゆる先ほど来話をしている CADMATIC 反 CADMATIC アウトプットメトリカル、これの使用が必須の条件ではございません。いわゆる他社製の CAD を使用されていたとしても、このeShareというものは導入可能だというところは一つ特徴的なところで、ございます。それでは説明をお聞きください。
Good afternoon. I'm taking the final session to show you a little bit more of eShare. You have seen many videos doing many interesting things, and I thought I would make a much more simple version of what eShare is. So I am going to focus on something called information discovery, just finding the information we need. Talk about a little bit of the difficulties behind this, make a really short demo, you've already seen a lot, and then talk about the deeper opportunities, but indeed they have already been covered in some of the videos. So we have been creating engineering information for a very long time. We started with simple sketches, sometimes physical 3D models, but today engineering information is very different. Everything has almost become small, virtualized. We no longer have the same kind of contact with it. We can make so much information, author it in seconds, and this means it has become difficult to find it because it's in some other location. It's no longer a physical thing. Indeed, this has become a business challenge. There have been some surveys done, industry surveys, looking at how long it takes people to find information. Over the last 20 years, the IDC, International Data Corporation, have been doing surveys with knowledge workers like engineers, IT people, about how long during the week they spend. And surprisingly, it's a very consistent piece of information, around 15 to 30% of our time. So if we're spending 15 to 30% of our time just finding information, this is not very efficient. So we can see that there's very much an opportunity to improve time and cost of working in this area just by making searching more efficient. But we do not need a better search engine. Our engineering data is very structured. It has names, identification, references. These are things that we can make and use to find information much more efficiently. The other challenge that we have is that we use very many different systems, different companies, all creating very complex information. Earlier, you heard about the NAPA to CADMATIC converter. This is making a transformation of very complex data from one system to another with the risk of errors. This is humans creating the data, the quality of the data may change. So it is a really expensive process to make transformations with complicated models. And this is just maybe one connection. To do this connection between many systems can be really expensive. And then you have the challenge of people learning many different systems, many licenses. Maybe this is not the best way to go for the entire group of your colleagues. Some colleagues just need to see simple information. So how can you take that information into one location? So eShare really takes all those informations into one window to make it really simple. In fact, it's a web page. So everybody has used a web browser. Using a web browser is now very natural. So anybody can learn how to do this. But indeed, this could still be expensive and complicated. How do we make this simple? Well, through the use of standards. We have standards for 3D models, standards for documents, and our data centers, our databases are standard. SQL is 50 years old, very popular. But today, through the internet, through applications on your phone, we have a new technique, REST API. SQL is kind of one way, mostly. This is two-way, and it's very, very efficient. And the structure of these processes is very well documented and, within reason, fairly simple. So what this means is to make a connection is no longer about making a custom system, no longer about coding. This is about configuration. So it means that instead of an expensive service for weeks and months, you can start with eShare in hours. Maybe 1 or 2 hours to install and 1 or 2 hours to make it work. So this is very, very easy, very agile and very quick. So maybe a quick demonstration more just to see what it feels like. So we see it is a web page, and I have a mouse, so very simple. So like a game, we can zoom in very easily. I am not a games person, I am a CAD person. So the kind of the zooming and moving is not my style. I prefer click, zoom. It's like having something in your hand and you see, you change. So you have two ways, like a game or like that. And you also saw, just here, our documents. So they're close together. Some documents from your file system, hard disk, or documents from a document management system. Document management system gives you revisions. Also the map, where you can have a 2D world. Some people like 2D, some people like 3D. So let's zoom in. So here I have the propulsion motor, and I want to find some information. So if I click, information comes to me. So I have all my attributes from 3D and other information. This information is from Excel. I have my drawings. A different system may give you different information from different systems. So piping system, 3D, attributes, but now PLM. So the interface pulls the information from many other systems. Okay, one more example. So you have also seen in the other videos use of the hierarchy. For the most part, these hierarchies are standard blocks, compartments, systems, but eShare allows hierarchies from other systems. So for example, nesting, it's an external system. So here we see just the information inside nesting. A small amount of information in nesting. Each nest is highlighted. You can see the plates. Let's find one here. So here is the nest, and here is the plates inside the nest. I want to know more. So here we can use another system of information, is to use color. So now here we can see red is nested, green is cut. So we could have information from our production system coming into eShare. A designer can now see what production is doing. We can see this information on documents. So for example, if I go to this plate here, load a drawing up. This will take a few moments, but we can see not only the plate on the drawing, but the nesting status on the drawing. So I must build the picture again. So here we see red and green on top of a drawing made in another system. So we focused on something very simple. We were able to bring information in from different systems into one visualization. You saw on other videos, documents and 3D model working together. You can go between the two. You can make hierarchies and color on top to see the status and to make decisions. So it's very, very simple, and the configuration is very, very quick. So this means that you can use your system across a lot of different people for them to understand what is going on. So as I said at the beginning, I would keep this simple. This is just the foundations, the very simple part of eShare. In some of the other videos, you saw more about project control, risk identification, systems and processes you can use in your projects. But often these are very customer specific. Another new thing that I am investigating is business intelligence. eShare collects a lot of time-based information. When you change the status of something from maybe in design to in production, it captures the date and time. So you can see the speed of the project moving forward. So this can be reported up to directors, managers. They can understand how fast the project is moving by the little actions that people are making in the project. So this is useful information for everybody in the organization, from the engineers, the fabricators, to managers. You can see from the other videos, there are a lot of interesting things you can do with eShare. You can add models from different systems on top of each other. You can work with status information. You can collect documents into work packages. It's overdue. What ideas? And as I said, on top of this, there is really interesting things you can do with the information of people making changes. The business intelligence, identifying future risks. For example, if one part of the ship is running slowly, this information needs to be exposed. You can also capture KPIs. So it's really powerful, but what it does is probably really simple. So to finish, Really, eShare is allowing you to save time and money by finding information quickly. And once you have found that information, then you have the opportunity to prevent any mistakes because you know what's going on and you can work with people to stop those mistakes from happening. So, yeah, early identification of risks, mistakes, and because all of this information is together, people in the higher managers can understand how efficiently everything is working. I'd like to thank you very much for your interest, and that's the end of the presentation.